All right, I'm going to go over the problem of the day and your homework and your vocabulary. So who still got a problem of the day?
Me? And me?
You don't have a problem with that.
I do got problems with this.
You're done though.
Oh. Wait, the nigga still cheap. No.
I saw your kill.
I bet you know Wait. I hear you quick.
All right. You done? Go across the hall and that thing room right there. Take that first off. But then go across the hall. With that gum out, that's a strike. Just to take a percent. How you take a percent of a number?
You play.
All right. The first question was equivalent ratios. So your first question said, fill in the table. Fill in the table to show equivalent ratio. An equivalent ratio is just two. That's right. It's just two. An equivalent ratio is two ratios that are equivalent. All right, two equivalent ratios. Did you just say shit?
No. Oh, Kim. No. Kim said something to me.
Okay, Josh, come here. Come this way. Go back around. Your desk is right here. The trash can is right there. There's no need for you to go to the back of my room. All right. It says for a recipe, Paul uses 3 cups of sugar for every 4 cups of flour. So in place of sugar, what would you put? 3. And flour is 4. Now, if we keep this going, if we do another sugar, we're gonna have how many cups of sugar? 6. How many cups of flour?
9. 8.
All right. The next one. How many cups of sugar? How many cups of flour?
16.
Okay. So that should be your answer to number 1. Number 2. It says a market sells 5 oranges for $4.35. How much will 7 oranges cost? All right. So 5 oranges cost $4.35. Right? So I need to figure out how much will it cost for 1 orange. Right? So to do that, I divide.
5
Which is 87 cents. Okay? 87 cents per orange.
And then you multiply 87 times.
Okay, hold on. There is other classes listening to that. I asked you yesterday, if you want to say something or you want me to acknowledge you, you need to raise your hand. Because other than that, it sounds like a bunch of noise. And people cannot learn with a bunch of noise. So, Jakarian, what do we do after we figure out what's the cost of 1 orange? You multiply to find the cost of 7. So that's 87 cents times 7, which is $6.09. That's the answer to number 2. 7 times 7 is 49. Carry your 4. 8 times 7 is 56 plus 4 is 60. Number 3, at basketball practice, Kyla made 27 free throws. This was 30% of her attempts. So what is this telling me, Ariel? What are you saying? If she made 27 free throws and that's 30% of her attempts, what does that mean? What do you have? The 27 and the 30 both represent what? They both represent what?
1.
No, not quite 1. What do they represent, Zion? The 27 and the 30.
I know. How many?
Braylon, don't do that. Yeah, but 27 and 30 are what? Amy? Does anybody know what the 27 and the 30 represent?
Me.
What?
It represents how many?
No, it represents what? No, it represents a part. 27 is a part because we're what are we looking for? We're looking for what? How many free throws did she attempt? So what am I looking for?
The whole.
The whole. Okay, I have a part, another part, and a whole. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so if I'm talking about 30%, right? 30% is what out of 10?
20.
3 out of 10. Okay, 3 out of 10. So I'm going to draw 10 squares. Okay, 3 out of these squares represent what? The 27. Okay, so if I break 27 into 3 parts, right? Because 30% is 3 parts and I have 27. Okay, so I'm gonna break 27 into 3 parts. And what would that be? 9. So every part is worth 9. And every part is how many percent? This is what? What percent is this?
3.
What percent is this? Alice, what percent is this? This block. This block is how many percent? Kishayla, thank you for raising your hand.
2.
Not 2. Shatavia, not 27. 10%. 10%, 20%, 30%, all the way to what? 100%. Right? Now, if you have 9 in every part, what's your total?
Your total is 1.
It doesn't have one. So take those out and put them right here.
6.
Okay. Look, multiply 9 times what?
27.
No. 9 times 10, because I got 10 parts of 9. So 9 times 10 is what? 90 free throws. Okay, 90 free throws. So let's go back. Okay, whenever you're talking about a percent, right? You have 10 equal spaces, 10 equal parts, because 10 times 10 is 100. So 30% is 3 parts. So I took 27, divided into 3 parts, and that's my total for every one of them. Okay? Then to find the total, I take 9, multiply it 10 times, and that's my 90. Now, I'm going to show you something else you can do. If 27 and 30 are both parts, whenever you write percent, percents have to go over what? 100. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
All your percents go over 100. All right? So, because 30 and 27 doesn't have anything you can multiply and divide by, we're going to reduce it. So, what can go into 30 and 100? 3. No.
4.
No. Come on, 3 cannot go into 100. 10. Thank you.
I said 10.
All right. So, how do I get from 3 to 27?
Divide.
Multiply by what?
9.
9. So, if I multiply 3 by 9, I have to multiply 10 by 9, and I get 90.
30.
So, I can do it this way, because this is part, whole, or I could do a model. So, either way you can do it to get the right answer. Now,
Wait,
go spit it out.
I got nothing. What more people on it?
Okay. Get away from my door. Go spit it out again. Go spit it out. Now, the next problem. When Alice asked for 4 feet of ribbon, the Clark measured a 48-inch piece. How many inches long is a 9-foot piece of ribbon? All right. So if 4 feet is 48 inches, how much is 1 foot? What do we have to do?
One time.
12 is 12.
No. What we have to do, divide. So 12 inches per foot. All right. So if there are 12 inches in 1 foot, how many inches are in 9 feet?
108.
What would you do? Okay. So that's the answer to number 4. They gave you a ratio, 48 inches, 4 feet. So I divide to find my rate. My rate is 12 inches per foot. So I take my rate and multiply it by 9, and that's how I get my answer. You can do the chart. It's fine. All right. Kate has 2/3 yards of fabric to make small flags. So if I say I have something, what is that called? 2/3 is my what? If I have 2/3, what is that? My what? My total. That's what I have. That's my total. All right. It says each flag requires 1/6 yards. So this is my what? Part. Now I'm trying to figure out how many flags I can make. All right. So what kind of problem is that, D'Angelo? Okay, I got a total and I have a part. I'm looking for my other part. How many flags can I make? What do you think I need to do? Be quiet. Not quite. Not multiply. Because think about it. If I multiply, I'm gonna get a bigger number. So I don't want to multiply. I need to what? Divide. Okay. So I'm gonna take 2/3 and I'm going to divide it by 1/6. Right? Now, how do I divide fractions? I what? Multiply by the what? The reciprocal. Okay. So when I want to divide, when I want to figure out how many of something I can make, I'm trying to figure out how many 1/6s are in 2/3. Okay? So if I'm trying to figure out how many 1/6s are in 2/3, I divide. So, or if you wanted to, you could keep adding up 6s until you get to what you need. 2 6s, that's not 2/3. 3 6s, is that 1/3? 2/3? No. 4 6s, is that 2/3? Yes, because 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So 4 6 and 2/3 is the same thing. So it took me 1, 2, 3, 4 of these to get 2/3. So my answer is correct. Okay, because it actually took me 4 of these 6s to get to my 2/3. Okay, so even if you didn't know how to divide, you still could add up these until you get to your answer. Okay, but it's not a multiplication problem. Sit down, Stan. Sit down. All right, any questions? All right, the next thing I'm going to do .
Can you tell me how, for them to come to the front of the room, those that have had
superhero behavior since the beginning of school.
Zion, Sierra, Layla, Thomas Lewis, Brianna, Gabrielle, Ames, Shatavia, Ariel, and Deshaun. She don't give me no. I know she was talking. My man,
God, no, I've seen her.
and look, I'm well, the parents were there.
Over there, doing his water work.
I'm
Oh, wow.
He had it one day, you know, but
Close your mouth.
I'm good. You got
I don't know if he had.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay, all right. Those of you that are up there for having super behavior on next Friday, you will get a chance to go to Vicksburg High School for a very special, they're having, a pep rally for 7, 8, and 9, 6, 7, and 8th grade. You're going over there from 12:20 to 1:20. They're gonna have just fun time in the gym, and they're gonna have concession stands, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. You may wear jeans and a casual shirt. It's $3, and I am proud of you for being superhero. Okay? You need to bring $3 on Monday. If mama says she doesn't have $3 Monday, just, I'm gonna find that $3 and mama can pay me back, okay? Y'all want you to go, cause y'all are the bomb.com. Your lady superpower shine. Give me some.
What about
Jakar, throw something else off that desk.
Cause I already got something downstairs that we gotta talk about. 9, and this is 10, right? That's 19 so far. Okay, good deal.
All right, boys and girls, y'all have a seat. Good job.
I could be on the trampoline.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, you're gonna get in trouble even more. I told you, your behavior is not, you control your behavior. You control that. I don't control your behavior. Okay? Well, leave it alone. Leave it alone. I tell you all the time, I try to work with you all, but when you don't want to do what you're supposed to do, that's not my fault. No. You want to do anything. You want to do any work.
I do.
You don't have any grades for me. How is that superhero behavior? Okay. Well, if you don't care, we're talking about it.
Oh,
I bet we get in the pool. He don't need to be on there.
Take out your
It's up to you.
I read book and turn to page 66. I read books and turn to page 66. The book that's in your desk, turn to page 66. She said since the beginning of the year. You started acting better since the beginning of the year. That's what makes the difference.
I was getting at the beginning of the year. Trash.
Page 66. Page 66. Page 66.
You can't go. No, don't get him from. Cause that ain't front. He be trying to wait on He's bad enough. He's been bad for 15 days straight. He on the rampage.
All right, page 66.
No, you're not.
All right, let's look at the first problem.
You say you want to kill yourself around.
It says Lydia bought 2 1/2 gallons of paint and used 1.
You said 66.
Yeah. Turn around. Lydia bought 2 1/2 gallons of paint and used 1 1/2 gallons of paint. What fraction of the paint did she use? All right. So
She used a gallon.
it says think. What fraction of 2 1/2 is 1 1/2?
One.
All right. So we have to divide.
It's 16. I just
Jarvis, go sit down. Jarvis, sit down. All right, so what fraction of 2 1/2 is 1 1/2? It says some fraction.
It's safe. what you know? I got a demon seed.
See, I don't know how she is, 'cause they don't have no problem over here.
No.
Ariel.
No, I'm talking to Kenneth Austin.
Ariel and Mike. Stand up if y'all got y'all thing from this week.
That's what I was saying. I'm lost.
Okay, y'all have to.
Only person deserving is Sierra. The problem. And you.
Okay. No.
Not like so play. It's like I if you're not
All right, so we're trying to see how many 1.5 can we get from 2.5. Okay, so we are going to divide 1.5 by 2.5. Now, when we do that, what do we have to remember to do? When we are dividing, okay, and we have mixed numbers. How do we divide mixed numbers? We have to change those mixed numbers to what?
Improper fraction.
Improper fraction. All right. So 1.5 is the same as what? 1.5, 3 halves. And 2.5 is the same as 5 halves. Okay? So, to work out the problem, we have to multiply by the what? What do we multiply by? Multiply by the what? The reciprocal. The reciprocal of 5 halves is what? 2 fifths. So, 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 5 is 10. So 6/10, if I divide that by 2, I get 3/5. It's in the book. It's in the book. Okay. So it says, what fraction of the paint did she use? She used 3/5 of the paint. Okay. She had 2.5, but she only used 1.5. So we had to divide. How much of the 1.5 is in the? How much of the 2.5 is in the 1.5? Okay. All right. The next problem. Lexi has planted seeds in 3/5 of the garden. She used 1/2 pound of seed. How many pounds will she use for the entire garden? Okay. So basically, 3/5 of the garden is 1/2, right? So she's trying to figure out how many pounds will she use for the entire garden. So how would you set that problem up? What would you do? That's a division problem. Now, what are you going to divide?
3/5
3/5 divided by 1/2? Alright, so let's look at that again. She planted seeds in 3/5 of the garden. She has used 1/2 pound of seed, right? So you're trying to figure out how much of the half, how much of the 3/5 is in the half. So that will be 1/2 divided by 3/5. Okay, because it says she used 1/2 pound of seed. So how many pounds will she use for the entire garden? So we gotta see how much of 3/5 is a half. All right, so to do that, okay, we are going to do 1/2 divided by 3/5. This is how much of the seed she's planted. This is how much she has used. So we're trying to see 3/5 is how much of the 1/2. Okay, so that will be what? 1/2 times what? 5/3, which would be 5/6. So she will use 5-6 pounds for the entire garden. That's the answer to number 26. She will use 5-6 pounds for the entire garden. All right. Number 27. A marathon is 131/5 miles long. If 4 people divide up the distance equally, how many miles does each person need to run? Okay. So looking at that problem, okay. 131/5 is the what?
The whole.
That's the whole. That's the total. And we want to take this and do what? Divide it into 4 parts, 4 people. Right? And how do you make 4 a fraction? 4/1. Okay? All right. So how do we work that problem?
135 times 1/4.
131/5 times 1/4. All right. So what would that be?
131/20.
131 divided by 20. All right. So how many 20s are in 131?
10.
7.
7 is too big. 2 times 7 is 14. 6.
Wow, you would just say one number. I should have said.
So 6 and 11 20s. Because I got 11 left over out of the 20. So 6 and 11 20s. That's how many miles they're gonna run. 6 and 11 20. So make sure you write the problem down all the way so that you can have the correct answer on your paper. All right, the last problem. It says, which of the following problems can be solved by finding 4 divided by 2/3? All right, now, 4 divided by 2/3. What does this mean? What are we trying to see? How many what? Look at just 4 divided by 2/3. We're trying to figure out how many blanks are in blank. How many 2/3 are in 4? Because, well, 4 comes first, so 4 is the total. We're breaking 4 into 2/3 parts, right? So look at these A, B, C, D, and tell me which situation. Don't tell me yet, but tell me which situation, or you circle, which situation do you think can you work out with 4 divided by 2/3? So read those four scenarios and decide which one. So I want you to circle your answer. Do you think it's A, B, C, or D? Just circle your answer. All right. Raise your hand if you think A is the correct answer. Raise your hand if you think B is the correct answer. Raise your hand if you think C is the correct answer. Raise your hand if you think D is the correct answer. Okay? The correct answer is B. B. Okay? It says, how many 2/3 cup servings are in 4 cups of soup? Okay, now, why do you think he chose A? Because A seems like it could be right, but what is A? What is the part in A?
It says 4 people share 2
4 people share 2/3. So that's 2/3 divided by 4, not 4 divided by 2/3. So that's what he went wrong with A. He confused the dividend and the divisor. The dividend is your total, which would be 2/3. Your divisor is what you're divided by, which would be 4. So that's why A is not the correct answer. The correct answer is B. Okay? The correct answer is B. All right, turn to page 68 and 69. All right, you are going to do page 68 and 69 by yourself. You are going to do 68 and 69 by yourself. All right, so that means you shouldn't be talking. That means you should not be talking. I need you to try to work those problems out, okay? $68 and $69. All right. Yesterday, I gave you 2 pages to do. What did y'all do with those 2 pages?
I gave it to the teacher.
No, I had 2 people. I got them from over on this side. That I don't have a paper for. So what I need you to do, I need you to have 59 and 60 and 67 and 68 on your desk. Okay? I need you to have both of those sheets on your desk because I need all of these pages finished before the end of the day. You have 1 hour. Don't tear it out. Keep it in the book. 68 and 69 stay in the book. All right? I need these 2 pages that you said you have. I need these 2 pages to be complete. Okay? Huh? It's in the other book. Yeah, don't tear nothing out but these orange pages that I was about yesterday. Okay? So you should have the pages at your desk. That's one, 59 and 60 is one, the other one is 60. You had a book yesterday, what is it, did you put your stuff in your, okay, well, go sit down. Y'all sit down. Were you not here yesterday? Okay, I told you to tear your pages out yesterday morning. Okay, so you don't think I know here, the only person that should be up here is Amy, because she wasn't here. Everybody else was here. I'll let you tear them out. You're right, she did, I was in here, let you tear them out. I have the paper here, but they don't have names on it. Here's her name. This is yours. This is one of them. You probably got two. And then I still have two more. Is this yours, Stanley? That's 59, 61, 68, not 61, 61. All right, raise your hand if you don't have those two pages. So, you think you put it back in your book? I don't know. You got it right? I said raise your hand if you don't. Okay, it's not yours, I don't know where your pages are. Are any of these yours? Do you write like that? You got Mike to make you see. You got 6, 7, 6, 8. You need 59 and 6. All right. I found Thomas, you're gonna have to stop calling. Any of these, did anybody, because these are the ones I picked up yesterday. No, baby. Alright, Thomas, stop. Y'all stop talking. That's not you. Who was that talking? T-Shay? Okay, stop talking. Alex, turn around. Get started on your work. No, I don't want to staple them together. I need them to be separate. You only need 59 and 60 and 67 and 68. Those are the only two pages you need. Stanley, you need to find yours. Can you get up yours? Shemai. We are not talking. You on the verge of losing your PPIS. Now I've asked you to stop talking. All you have to do is do what's in front of you. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. Stop talking. You have to be able to practice at some point by yourself. Because if you don't ever practice by yourself, you're not gonna ever know what you don't know how to do.
Go.
Now you got 6, 7, 16. I got these. I don't know. If somebody's missing, Stan, I think this is yours. So you do right like that. Well, you need to put your name on your page. That's probably yours. Who else doesn't have 67 and 68? Gabriel, do you have yours? These, this may be yours. Because I found these from the 4x y'all yesterday. Oh, you did yours? No, you didn't turn it in. Nobody turned it in. She didn't take any of them up. So maybe look in your book bag. I'm not sure.
It's somebody, right?
I did find it back here though. It was just torn out. Yeah, just look in your book bag. Taylor, you need to get up here and look at these books and find and see yours and
You eat this guy. Put it in my mouth.
Bro, Jenny will spit on the floor.
I don't know what shit at me. Here you go. I spit it out.
Oh! It's all over and split. White shot.
see how you do? Every time I leave, I'm not the son, it's not the son, but still, see how y'all do though. You can't worry about nobody but yourself, right? You can only worry about yourself. Let's line up for the rest of Line up. Tom, stop. We want to fifth grade. Yes. Please stop.
It'll probably be
But
a
you don't have to have it, understand? Yes, 67, 68.
You thirsty, man. You like that.
Okay, I think I looked at the lobby. When I look at the lobby, I look at the thing, I'm going off the higher.
Turn around, girl.
You should have it.
Give me that yellow pencil.
Get rid of that.
Oh my God.
You ready now? Okay, so